defensive urgency last night. Jamal said something similar.
So Drew,
Christian
good.
said something similar. Um, I remember back in the 2023 season, prior to that, like overall season, you were don't talk about it, be about it. How do you guys be about defensive urgency?
Yeah, it's just a matter of going out there and doing it. I mean, everybody says the right things, but now you have to have the maturity and urgency to go out there and do it, and not wait until the second half, not wait till the fourth quarter, not wait till a clutch situation where we've proven to be very effective. Because that's scary. Like if we, I think we go into games like, well, we can score, and we're just going to ride our offense tonight. And you give a team 40 points in the first quarter. Now you're trying to put fires out everywhere. And go back to last time we played this team. Gave them a 36 in the first quarter. Didn't take care of the ball. Didn't get back. Let them catch a rhythm, get comfortable, and then Jordan Poole obviously exploded for 39, and we wound up losing that game. So, um, yeah, it's just I think something that every individual has got to kind of look at themselves in the mirror and say, I had to be better, because you got to do it individually before you do it collectively, and that's where it starts.
After a lot of, I would say, your better defensive games, you'll point to Nicola's levels being really good in that game. When they're not as good in a game, what are you seeing that kind of creates for the opponent? Is it just that if he's a little bit further back than he should be, it creates extra room for the pass and basketball advantage down the floor? Or like how does that kind of set up for other things to be playing from behind, I guess?
Well, it's easy. When you're at the level, you're putting pressure on the ball handler. You're forcing him to get off the ball quickly, find the pass in the pocket, find the throw-ahead pass, and now you're trusting on your other three defenders to fly around and rotate. When we're down the floor, which we are at times, that's part of our game plan. We're not always at the level, but when you're down the floor, now you're trying to play things more 2v2, and you're trusting the guy guarding the ball to give tremendous rear view pursuit and work for a late contest. And I think like when you have shooters like a Jordan Poole tonight, we try to be into over and up as much as possible because we don't want him shooting pull-up threes. In today's NBA, the pull-up three is like a layup. I mean, some of these guys, the way they shoot it with the range that they have. And we ask so much of Nikola because they put him in 50, 60, 70 pick and rolls per game. And, last game against the Lakers, I think probably 3 times he broke up a pocket pass that led to points for us on the other end. So it's not just on Nikola. Our defense requires everybody, 1 through 18, to be disciplined and obviously just to give that multiple effort that's required.
Even though they're different teams than we faced them prior, how do you think that first meeting will impact tonight's game?
Well, hopefully, to your point, the personnel is somewhat different, but just hopefully the sting of that loss. And again, what are we battling? We're battling schedule, right? 5 games, 7 nights, a lot of minutes for our main guys. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 3-2 in their last 5. They're playing better. So, if you want to go all the way back to December 7th and use that as a rallying cry, so be it. But we just have to find a way to do whatever it takes to get a win tonight before we go on the road for a really tough 4-game road trip.
You talked defensively a while ago. In the old days, back when you were coaching all them camps up in
Not that old, man.
Hoboken, but they'd always teach the guy on the ball to hit that screen, slide, get up into the dribble, slide over, step over, and all that. Can you still do that the way the game's rep nowadays?
Well, you have to. If you're going to be a good defensive player, the best offensive players create separation. The best defensive players negate separation. They get into your airspace. They limit that separation. Look at the job that Russell Westbrook does at times. He blows things up. He doesn't get screened. KCP was like that. KCP was a guy that was just, okay, no matter what you're doing, I am getting into the ball so you can't screen me. And I think that's an art. Defensively, it's an art to not get screened and to get skinny into the ball. So, yeah, I think no matter how the game is being called, that's something that's imperative if you want to be a good defensive player. And a team, secondarily, you have to find ways to limit that separation. And you can't guard if you're not physical. You can't guard if you're not into bodies. And that's evident every single night you watch this game.
Speaking of separation, how do you guard a guard who comes 100 miles an hour, makes contact, runs around, throws a shot up, and gets. I mean, how
Who are
do
you
guard?
talking about, Vic?
No one in specific.
Who are you
but
talking?
The league has gotten to the point where the perimeter guys are coming just so hard to the rim, you need to get out of your way, or, I mean, if you initiate contact, there's always a foul, it seems.
Well, I mean, it's like the mafia, man. Every time you come up with a new law, they're going to find a loophole. In the NBA, they come out with new rules, and the best offensive players, they're going to game the system. And so have you ever seen an NBA game where more guys do that? I mean, the snapback is like, come on, man. Like, we're going to have guys wearing like braces around their neck pretty soon because it's getting out of hand. But it's getting called, so why wouldn't you do it? You know what I mean? Like years ago, it was the sweep through. So all these rules, and obviously, and the league is trying to play catch up. They're trying, okay, well, how can we get this out of the game? How can we get that out of the game? But you got a lot of really savvy players out there that understand what the rules are and how they can circumvent those rules. But it is definitely hard. I think defending in the NBA, if you look at the numbers nowadays, like the top defenses, man, when I first got in the league, those would be by far the worst defenses. But everything over the last 20 some odd years has been to keep fans engaged, and that's always going to be offense first and foremost. And I understand, I think Joe Dumars in the league, they're trying to help get defense back in the game, man, but that's a really tough challenge right there.
Michael, when you're talking to the training staff about potentially getting guys rest, with all the metrics and tracking data that is available now, does that make it in the conversation, or is it as simple as this guy's played X amount of minutes and X amount of games?
I'm sure for them it's a lot of all that somewhere in the sky, it's up in the cloud. I don't know where it is. I trust my gut, and I trust my eyes, and I trust my conversations with our players, with our training staff to kind of make those determinations. But yeah, when I first got in the league with the Knicks to now, the number of reports that you can get about miles ran and this and that, it's great information to have. And then how you use that is obviously up to you and your respective staff. But I met with Steve Short and some of our training staff last night after the game, and not just thinking about tonight, but just these last 15 games, and how we can maybe best plan that out accordingly to try to take emotions out of it. Because when you get the emotions are involved, sometimes you don't make the best decisions.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it, everybody.